Tisha Mason's mother was surprised to say the least when Tisha announced that she wanted to travel to South Korea as a Presbyterian young adult volunteer. But Tisha had long felt a calling to mission, and this seemed like a perfect opportunity to challenge herself and her faith in a country where she didn't quite know what to expect. We welcome Tisha, who is a graduate of Warren Wilson College with a degree in religion and religious studies, and is now a student at McCormick Theological Seminary. Thank you for being here today, Tisha.
Thank you for having me.
So how did you go about getting your mother's blessing to go on this trip?
I don't quite think it was more of a blessing. I essentially said, Mom, this is something that I need to do. This is something that I feel called to do, and you have 15 days to spend with me before I leave. So
not a whole lot of forewarning.
I gave her some forewarning. I said, I think I want to do this program. She was like, oh no, you're not going to. Then I got accepted, and I'd say, oh Mom, I got accepted, and my first choice, South Korea. I said yes. And she's like, oh, not my daughter. And then I worked at my summer camp, and when she came to pick me up, I was like, Mom, I'm leaving in 15 days. I'm going.
Okay. So tell us, leading up to that decision, tell us a little bit about your faith journey.
I've always been faithful in a way. I've always felt spiritual in a sense. And it wasn't until I got to undergraduate where I made the concrete decision that this is something that I'm going to do with my life, and faith is my calling. Being a faithful person is my calling. And
you went ahead and studied that as an undergraduate.
Went ahead, studied it in undergraduate. I tried to go like the Southeast Asian route. God had different plans for me.
Okay.
And was like, well, you're going to go this way. And so I ended up getting my concentration in Abrahamic traditions, and I have not been upset about that.
And then what about the young adult volunteer program was appealing to you?
So I actually eavesdropped on someone's conversation.
Okay.
And that's the first time I heard about the young adult volunteer program. And my pastor, Brian Ammons at Warren Wilson, was talking to someone else, and he was affiliated with the U.S.A office. And I was like, this sounds like something I want to do. Can we talk about it? And so he gave me the information. I looked online, and South Korea stood out to me, and its mission statement stood out to me, and I decided I'm going to do this.
And South Korea was your first choice. Why?
There's just something about the way the program was described. Granted, the description on the website versus the site was very different because there was a 3-year hiatus between the last time YABS went to South Korea and my group went. So it was definitely different, but the fact that they were asking us to be taught by the Korean people and not bring our own perceptions in was really what stood out to me. It's like, I say this all the time, the way it was described was South Korea was going to take you to the furthest reaches of your comfort zone and then make you take one more step. And so that's what I was working with, and that's why I loved it.
What surprised you when you got there? What was different than what you expected?
I try not to make expectations for myself, because then you just open yourself to fault. And what I can say that did surprise me was how much more I stood out. Being African American, being Black, I understood that I'm going into a 90% homogenous society, and I am going to be one of very, very few. So that was definitely a surprise. And this, I know this is going to sound strange, but I had to go to Korea to feel beautiful by standards. Like, in South Korea, you have this idealized image of like who's beautiful, blonde hair, blue eyes, the American standard. But then when I got to Korea, it was the exact opposite. It's like I was seen as beautiful. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. That's different.
Well, and certainly unique, I would think. You're young, you're a woman, you are a woman of color. Tell us about the work you did there. You were learning from people of South Korea. So
I actually worked at Bopdong Jiakadong Center, which is Bopdong is the name of the place. It's Yakadong Santa for underprivileged children and children from impoverished and broken families, where it gives them a safe place to be, where there will be food provided, education provided, and also a nice place for them to just feel safe and loved.
That's very important. Can you tell us about memorable people that you met while you were there?
There are so many people that are memorable. Like my Onni means older sister. From my site, she has been studying English, and so we were able to have very meaningful conversations and conversations about the children that came to the site. And she's probably one of the most important people, besides her mother, who is the Moksanim, the pastor at the site, that really stand out, besides the friends that I made that were my age.
Okay. Any great stories? Do you have favorite memories?
I think one of my favorite memories is for Solar, which is the Lunar New Year's in Korea. I was told that I would be going to my friend's house for Solar, and Solar is a very important holiday in Korea and Asia for that matter. Mm-hmm. It's a family holiday where families come together and essentially you pay homage to the people that came before you. And it's a very meaningful time, and I had to go into that environment. I remember coming up to the door and like my friend's father answering the door and inviting me in, and I told him, I was like, hello, my name is Tisha, I am Semyoung's friend, I'm here. And he said, welcome home. They welcomed me home and brought me in.
Oh, how touching.
And treated me like family. And it's very amazing to be loved so genuinely by people that did not know me.
Right, and then it's such a meaningful family time. Mm. How do you think this has impacted you, and maybe what your hopes and dreams are for the future?
It's definitely has redirected me and solidified my call to ministry and what I can provide to people. It's made me reevaluate how I see myself, how I see the United States, how I see my role in the church, what that means to be having a role in the church. All of it has been affected by the time I spent in South Korea and what I've learned in South Korea, and the kind of privilege that comes with holding a U.S. passport has definitely been instilled in me.
Yeah, you've had a very concrete experience of it. If you were going to say one of the things that you learned from the people that you were there to learn from, what would be one of the most important lessons?
Even when you think someone can't give you anything, you have to be receptive and open, because you never know. Like the homeless person that comes to the food center where you work can teach you something about what it means to be like Christ, or like what it means to be a religious person, or what it means to help someone. I was very surprised at how much the people of Korea taught me about what it means to be a good servant.
And sounds like that's something that could apply to us in South Korea and Chicago and anywhere else.
Definitely.
Is there anything you'd like other young adults to know about the program?
Well, I would say that the Young Adult Volunteer Program it might not be for everyone, but everyone should give it a shot.
Okay.
And do not let the fact that, oh, I'm not a Presbyterian, so I can't do this, that doesn't matter.
Okay.
It's open to everyone, and it's definitely something that will teach you more about yourself than any kind of schooling can. It'll teach you what kind of resilience you have and what kind of person you truly are.
And so in summary, looking back, is your mom glad you went on this trip?
I wouldn't say she is, because now I'm in Chicago.
It still isn't home.
Still isn't home. But I can say that I think my mom is definitely proud of the person that I've become, and I don't think she would have it any other way.
Okay. Thank you so much for being here with us, Tisha, for sharing your remarkable journey. I'm Polly Toner for Different Drummers and the Greater Chicago Broadcast Ministries. Keep the faith.